This video is standard AREI 3, solving equations and justifying the steps. Example number 1, 2 times the quantity of n plus 9 equaling 5n. I'm going to create a line through the equal sign going down to show that when you switch the side of the line, you need to make sure that the sign changes. So the first thing I need to do is the distributive property. So 2 times n is 2n. And 2 times positive 9 is a positive 18, equaling 5n. The property I just used is distributive property. My next step is to look at what I have and determine what needs to be moved. So I have a variable with a number equaling a variable. Since there's only a variable on this side, I want to move the variable from the left over to the right. Since I'm moving it, I need to do the opposite. So when I do the opposite, it's a positive 2, so I need to take a negative 2n and a negative 2n. Those cancel on the left, leaving me with 18 equaling 3n. The property I use is subtraction property of equality. In my last step, I have 3 times n. The inverse of multiplication is division. What I do to one side, I have to do to the other side to keep it balanced. So I'm left with n equaling 6, division property of equality. Now I'm going to go ahead and check this answer just to make sure that it's right. In order to check my answer, I'm going to substitute 6 in for n. So I'm going to have 2 times the quantity of n, which is 6 plus 9, equaling 5 times 6. So then 2 times 6 is a 12, and 2 times 9 is 18. So 2 plus 18 equaling 30. So 12 plus 18 is 30 equals 30, so it checks. You don't always have to check your answers, but it's really nice, especially on a test, to check your answers to make sure that the answer is correct. Example number 2 is 4 times the quantity of 2a plus 3 equaling negative 3 times the quantity of a minus 1 plus 31. The first step I need to do is the distributive property. I need to do this to both sides as there's 2 distributions. So I'm going to go ahead and just come over here and write distributive. And then I'm going to multiply 4 times 2a, which gives me 8a, and 4 times 3, which gives me a positive 12. And that equals negative 3 times a, which is a negative 3a, and negative 3 times negative 1, which is a positive 3, and I'm going to bring down my positive 31. Now looking at here, there's a couple different things I'm going to do. The pretty typical one to do would be to combine like terms. There are no like terms on the left side of the equal sign, but there are on the right. So I'm going to circle my like terms. I have a positive 3 and a positive 31. I do not change the signs because they are on the same side of the equal sign. So I just go 3 plus 31 is 34, positive. And then I bring down my negative 3a, my equal sign, and then my 8a plus 12. At this point, I could determine to move anything that I want to move. So I'm going to determine to move this positive 12 on the left by subtracting 12 and subtracting 12. So I just did the subtraction property of equality. So these cancel, leaving me 8a equaling negative 3a plus 22. So now if I look at this problem, I have an a equaling an a and a variable and a number. I need to move this a term over so that way I'm left with a variable equaling a number. So in order to do that, I need to do the opposite. And so the opposite would be to add 3a to both sides. So we just did the addition property of equality. This gives me 11a equaling 22. We're going to pick this up on the next slide. So continuing where we left off, we had 11a equaling 22. The last thing that we need to do is divide to get the a by itself. So we're going to divide by 11. So we did the division property of equality. So we got a equaling 2. If we checked our answer, we do end up where 2 is correct. Now it's your turn to try some problems. Number 1 is 3x plus 4 equals 2x minus 7. And number 2 is 8 times the quantity of 7 minus p minus 8 equaling negative 16 times the quantity of p minus 2.